In the beginning, God created himself. Then he created the world on what we call September 11th, approximately 7,500 years ago. Well, some might say, well, the new year is in March when it's springtime. Well, guess what? A lot of the world doesn't have 4 seasons. For example, Trinidad only has 2 seasons, wet and dry. So it has nothing to do with the seasons. It has everything to do when God created the world. So let's see. This is a book of the generations of Adam. Male and female created he them and blessed them and called their name Adam in the day where they were created. So this is the first thing we need to know.
First thing African people have to know is this, is that the name of our continent was never Africa. The name of our continent was Ethiopia, burnt face. Mentioned in Genesis chapter 2. The name Africa comes in the last part of the last millennium.
So we know what Africa is called. Africa is called Ethiopia. So what did God say? In 2011 was the year 7,500 in Ethiopia. So what about 7,501? Well, time before the creation of the world is not something man can sensibly contemplate in the Christian tradition. In other words, Darwin is a fool. So let's read Psalm 87. And respecting Zion, it will be said, each and every one was born in her. And the Most High himself shall firmly establish her. Jehovah Selah. Haile Selah.
And was crowned Haile Selassie I, King of Kings, King of Zion, conquering lion of the seed of Judah, power.
He's the king of Zion. So where's Zion? Ethiopia. So that's why Ethiopia has the oldest language in the world. Ge'ez, considered by scholars to be the oldest language. So instead of 5,000, it should say 7,500. Ge'ez is what all Bibles is translated out of. So the Apocrypha, which was left out of the KJV version, is also translated out of the original tongues. And it was not in the older New Testament format. So who has the oldest monarchy and list of kings in the world? Ethiopia. And it goes back approximately 6,500 years ago. So what does the Brooklyn Museum say about the Egyptian civilization? They will say it's one of the oldest civilizations. That's why in the book Blacks Before America, it states that Egypt was called the granddaughter of Ethiopia, and Egyptians were referred to as disobedient Ethiopians. So as you can see, the Brooklyn Museum, Egyptian art is one of the largest and finest in the United States. It's renowned. And where does it go back? Approximately 6,000 years. In other words, the Ethiopian kingdom predates Egypt civilization by at least 500 years. So what did they do in Egypt? They just made up art and called it gods. So they are the original sci-fi pagan writers. And who's from Egypt? Ptolemy. Where was he born? Egypt. And what is his nationality? An Egyptian Roman who is also a Greek. For Ptolemy was the most influential of the Greek astronomers. So how is that possible that Egypt could be Greece and Rome? Well, ask Cleopatra, for she had children with Caesar and with Antony. Hence she had European children. And even the last pharaoh of Egypt was called Caesar. Like, hello, they're one big family, and they're also a mixed family. How do we know this?
It's a secret shadow hierarchy. The one at the top, what is called the papal bloodlines. The Black Pope is the one controlling the biggest intelligence agency in the world. They belong to the Jesuit order. What is called the black nobility families are the royal families across the world, mainly in Europe. The one who is the most powerful, which the Windsors are connected to, is wealth. JFK was from such a family.
Notice he's Egyptian. Who's also Egyptian and of Roman Greek descent?
Cambridge University from the book King James IV and the First Reunion of Christendom. This is one of the very few non-whitewashed images of the king that we have. And they couldn't whitewash this image because it was made on a fabric. So if they whitewashed it, it would destroy the image. They tried so hard to get rid of this information, but I have one question. Where did the dark-skinned, nappy-haired rulers go? If King James was ruling up into the 1600s, then what happened?
Easy. This is what happened.
Yeah, they would literally breed out the melanin of the people. You know, they would have these, they would take the children and take them to breeding camps and breeding farms and breed the darker ones and the mulatto ones with white. And they would literally breed the melanin out of these people.
So that's the same thing that done with the monarchy of Rome, which is also England. Listen.
This is Henry Lord Darnley, father of King James IV and the First of England, Scotland, and Ireland. And this is Mary, Queen of the Scots, mother of King James. And this is King James himself.
Hence, they just breed out the color. Bye.